Hey folks, it's Spitz with Pixels and Pills at Digital Pharma East in Philly 2012. It's my pleasure to have Mr. Steve Woodruff, the Pharmaceutical Connections agent, the one and only with us here today. It's day 3 of mobile, and we've had so much transformation within the digital health space over the course of a few years. And what about looking ahead? 18 months, a couple years. It's kind of hard to fathom where we're going, especially where we've been. But what are some of your thoughts about the imminent future within the space?
Well, I think if you look ahead, especially, let's say 5 or 7 years, a lot of the terminology, a lot of what we talk about now is going to just go away. So the idea of mobile as a channel or a separate thing, that will go away. Mobile will be life. The idea of digital being a separate thing, the idea of social media being a separate thing, all of these things are converging. And where the puck is going, to quote Wayne Gretzky, is that we're just going to be connected to each other, connected to data streams and information continuously, and it's all going to be in our pocket or on our wrist or on our Google Glasses. So interestingly enough, we're in this transition period where we're talking about websites, that's going to go away, where we're talking about digital, desktop, mobile, smartphone. All those distinctions are going to disappear, and we're just going to live a new normal life of being continuously digitally connected. And that's where the real fun is, and the people that are going to make the most money in the future are the ones that enable the intelligent bringing to us of the data we're looking for. In other words, those that help us find instead of just enabling us to go search. That's the future for us.
It sounds compelling and inevitable from a philosophical point of view, but when the rubber hits the road, it's obviously challenging. We've got a highly fragmented environment, both in terms of channel and UX. Facebook is synonymous with social. Google with search. Google's had trouble integrating the two. And then you've got the mobile playing field. And to your point, mobile will be meaningless in the same way World Wide Web is meaningless. But in terms of that interface, in terms of that user experience, regardless of whether it's an armband or a goggle, how do you envision that coming to be where, to your point, we need to actively reach out and get the information relevant and contextual to our needs? But what is that cloud-based experience conceivably going to be like, especially within the healthcare space?
Well, the major piece that's missing is the artificial intelligence to know what I want and to get it and bring it to me. So right now we're still in the old modality. Like when I grew up, I had to go physically to the library, find a book, take it out, look for what I want. We're still doing that digitally. So the information's out there. The data streams that come from devices are out there. You see what people with diabetes walk around with. They have this constant stream of information from devices. So the world of information, things, and people are all becoming interconnected, but the big missing piece is the intelligence to bring what we need. And that's going to go beyond things like a Google search engine or a Facebook app. It's somebody's going to come up with this, and we're playing with little pieces of it now. But this is what's coming, and that's what's going to be the real exciting part of the future. Now, the trade-off is there will be absolutely zero privacy in this world. It will be like what we have seen on WALL-E and Star Trek: The Next Generation and all these other future thinking where digital and analog merge. So there's going to be a trade-off, but I don't see this train stopping anywhere short of those stations.
Totally agree. Larry Page famously said that the ideal search engine finds exactly what you're looking for instantaneously and goes beyond that, but proactively based on your user preferences and behaviors provides the information that's compelling for you. You bring up a great point about privacy, and I see that shifting. Todd Parks talked about open data. But the question that I have in mind throughout all this is who's going to own this stuff? Obviously, data has some value to it. It's very territorial already, even within the healthcare space. Payers, pharma, even the advocacy organizations are all vying for this personal information. As the personal information becomes ubiquitous and explodes, how are those stakes going to be claimed, and how do you see that playing itself out?
In the most simplistic way, whoever pays the bills is going to own the data. So if government is running all of healthcare, government's going to own the data. If we're all using Google's tools, Google's trading that for data. So I don't know how all that's going to shake out, but if we follow the money trail, that's who's going to own it.
So it sounds like we're headed toward that quantified self reality. It sounds like we're just going to have basically a gateway, a portal to the cloud,
Yes.
and it'll all be integrated together. How does that ultimately translate to improving the quality of life for patients and getting physicians treatment solutions that they're looking for? But that's ultimately the nuts and bolts. It sounds to me almost like we're making physicians superfluous and we're transforming the entire healthcare infrastructure.
No, the way the world is evolving, not just in healthcare, but in other areas, is we are generating enormous streams of information, whether it's through devices or whatever. There has to be this intelligent layer of people that are going to take this, parse through it, figure out what it means. And a physician in the new health environment will be that person who is sifting through a lot of information as well as person-to-person discussion and making sense of it. So it'll be a different kind of modality, but in every single type of environment, we're going to need those highly trained experts who are essentially curators of data and information at a very high level. And the companies that create tools that allow the parsing through quickly of all this information into something relevant and actionable, those companies are going to make a fortune.
Thanks so much, Steve. Steve Woodruff, folks, over at Digital Pharma East, talking about the future of digital health, but reaffirming the significance of the ghost in the machine and the human element, which can never and should never go away. Spits with Pixels and Pills. Thanks so much, folks.
Thank
And it'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Spits with Pixels and Pills, signing out. Steve,
I told you, stevewoodruff.com. That's where people can find me, okay? I'm a .com.
crass product placement here,
Try it
folks.
again.
Spits with Pixels and Pills.
Look, I told you, everybody's going to be an IP address in the future. So this is 119.46.0.7 signing off.
I think I see the shunt in the back of his head. Great.
Wally!
Yeah, right.
Wally!
Yeah. Spits with Pixels and Pills, signing off. Steve Wood.
Who? Steve Wood?
426.5531.3.
That's better. Okay, now we know who you are. Yeah.
The IP address of Spitz, of Steve, and I think I got to go pee.
Yeah.
That was great. I love that.